What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another month. We're in June 1st. And on today's show, we're going to be talking about Marvel's Midnight Sun. Poor initial sales for that game. We have an article for that. We're going to be talking about Jason Schreier had an article talking about Redfall and the problems internally with Redfall before Microsoft took over. We're going to talk about that as well. And then we're also going to go look at a IGN article, or video, I should say, from Destin Laguirre, talking about the PlayStation Showcase was great, but for Xbox, and we're going to break that down a little bit as well. I'm going to try to put music in the background just to give it a little bit less silence when I'm done talking, or in between talking. See if it works out today. If it doesn't, we stop it or whatnot. When we watch videos, I'll lower the video or the audio. What's going on, Travis? Water. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see what you guys are saying. Travis, I already answered the two first questions. I think they are making they already have a Stranger Things game, or they're in the works of it. There's a mobile game, and then I think they're making a game as well. Helldivers looks good, or it looks interesting. I shouldn't say it looks good. We know nothing of it. But it'll be interesting to see more of it. Travis says, I will say I love to get your take on it during stream. But do you think there are more first-person shooters could stand to go a little bit more stealthy, kind of, like how they did Zero? I want a variety of my games. I don't want what happened like in the past. There's always been like the same type of games. You can go way back in the NES days, look at the same type of games coming out. But I hate like now, like all the AAA games that come out are all basically the same. You know what I mean? Like all first person shooters, they all go to the battle royale and then they all make battle royales, or they're all making the extraction games now, and they're all making these open world. it's like movies. If you've seen one movie, you kind of seen them all because they're running out of stories to tell, so they're kind of just like rehash. That's what it feels like they're doing with video games now. But the problem is they don't space them out. So like one person makes a game and everyone's like, "Do you see how that game's working?" And they all jump in on that. And there needs to be like a balance. There needs to be a balance of like, do you see the man behind the curtain type of thing? Some games you don't see it, and some games you do, even though they're both the same type of game. Go on, Stealth. I'll be doing some hell diving today. Water is so hyped up for Diablo, he can't help it. Like all day long, he'll be like doing something. It'll be like, that reminds me of Diablo. I remember that time I was waiting for Diablo to go to a Mexican restaurant and be like, "Hey, can you pass the hot sauce?" He's like, "Oh, which one?" "El Diablo." You're like, oh, man, I can't wait to get home. Gonna be constantly just thinking of Diablo. Go on, Horseman. I was actually hoping for Schreier's article on Redfall. Want to know how something could go that wrong. Upper management. What's going on, Dustin? Do you think Gears Collection would be a stealth drop at Game Fest? Well, here's the thing. Was there a rumor in any way, shape, or form, Dustin, that would suggest you thinking there's going to be a ghost drop or whatever, shadow drop at Game Fest? Because if there was, then it won't be like a stealth drop then. You see what I'm saying? If you know nothing of it, and you've never seen or heard anybody talking about it, and then they just do it, then sure. All right. What article do you want first? Do you want the Midnight Suns article first, or do you want the Jason Schreier Redfall article first? It doesn't matter to me. This whole stream is going to be a test because I pay for the music. Like they don't pull me down for copyright, so we'll see if it happens or not. But it might. But I have a license. We'll see. Deadfall. Before Blizzard messed it up, as they do everything at midnight subs. What do you mean before everything? Blizzard messed it up. Blizzard's been with Diablo for like where it came from. So how could Blizzard mess Diablo up? Oh, you want the Midnight Suns? Yeah, let's do the Midnight Suns. We'll wait for more people to get here. We'll do the Midnight Suns one. Oh yeah, Travis just says stuff. There's a lot of people that just say things just to say things, though, Water. Yeah, but like you just said, you said, remember when Diablo was playable until Blizzard messed it up. But Diablo's been with Blizzard the entire time. All right. Let's talk about the Midnight Suns. This comes from Bounding into Comics. No, I'm saying they will mess it up. It's coming. And until it's not. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Camera, I got to fix it. Something got messed up with my camera yesterday. I don't know how it did it. It like moved everything over. I'm not sure what. It shut off last night for the stream, and then it never recovered. Like, screwed everything up. All right. So after a poor initial sales of Marvel's Midnight Suns, developer Fairfax lays off numerous employees. Okay, a new report claims that Marvel's Midnight Suns Civilization developer laid off around 30 employees following poor sales results for Marvel game, which released in December. We just stop there, hard stop for a second. The people that make their job and lose their job, I know this sounds like heartless or whatnot. A lot of these people don't lose their jobs because of poor sales or anything like that. A lot of these people were going to lose their jobs regardless because a lot of these employees are contracted. That's majority of the industry. Like, in the gaming industry, you're looking for that full-time gig, and obviously no one's ever safe, but you're looking for that full-time gig. Just like in the film industry, you're looking for that full-time gig. Like, if you can get, like, this is the dream job if you work in the entertainment industry, right? If you can get on a sitcom that runs for like 10 years, you know, for 6 months of the year, you're working on that every year for 6 months, right? That's a steady paycheck. And when you're not working there, you pick up other jobs. Okay. Video games doesn't work as like that. Obviously, when you're working on a video game, you're there for 12 months, 18 months, whatever. But you're contracted. You're contracted. Okay. So it's the oh, I gotta mute the sound inside. The hell was that? Playing music. The damn ad just started playing. All right. So, has laid off about 30 developers, a source familiar with the studio tells Axios. Now, he added a representative of Fairfax publisher 2K Games informed him that the layoffs were made due to the sharpening of the focus, enhancements, and efficiency and alignment of our talent against our highest priorities. Okay. In January, early sales data indicates that the game was poor seller. Game industry reported a game failed to crack into the top 100 games sold in the United Kingdom, and the outlet noted other releases such as PGA Tour 23, Callisto Protocol, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII, Reunion, Ghostwire Tokyo, Evil Dead, The Game Extraction, Marvel Midnight Suns, 2 Point Campus. All of them recommended, all finished outside the top 100. Okay. Now, the game also failed to crack into the top 10 downloads from PlayStation Store for PlayStation 5 games in the United States in December. Now, the month and the game released instead placed 14th behind games like The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, which originally released in 2015, and Grand Theft Auto 5, which originally released in 2014. Now, the game didn't even chart in the top 20 downloads from PlayStation Store for PlayStation 5 games Europe. Okay, and you can see the list there. It's kind of blurry, but you can see some of the top games there. In the U.S. is Call of Duty, FIFA, NBA 23, Grand Theft Auto, Madden, Callisto Protocol, God of War, Need for Speed, Outbound, and Elden Ring. Oh, I'm sorry, and Crisis Core, Final Fantasy Reunion. That's the top 10. Breaking into the next one is Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights. Sold very well. Interesting. Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, Marvel's Midnight Suns was 14th. Cyberpunk 2077, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, NHL 23, Gran Turismo, Sonic Frontiers, and The Last of Us Part 1. Okay, and then in Europe, it was FIFA, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Need for Speed, Witcher, Protocol, Ragnarok, Elden Ring, NBA, Reunions at number 10. Cyberpunk was 11. It Takes Two, 12th. Fallen Order's 13th. Goat Simulator was 14th. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was 15th. Gran Turismo was 16th. Far Cry 6 was 17th. F122 was 18th. Gotham Knights was 19th. And Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales was 20th. So, the game did not chart on PlayStation Store's top PlayStation 4 download charts in both the United States and Europe. It wasn't even on the charts. By January of 2023, the game had completely fallen off PlayStation 5 charts and did not chart on PlayStation 4 charts as well. Now, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick also reportedly told Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier that the game was a commercial flop, but it put the blame on the release window. Okay? Schreier claimed that Zelnick said it's possible the release window wasn't perfect. So, Take-Two Interactive also announced in February that Jake Solomon, the creative director of both Marvel's Midnight Suns and XCOM franchise, would be departing the studio. A press release noted that Solomon leaves after over 2 decades of Firaxx games and was also instrumental by technical turn-based genre in releasing XCOM Enemy Unknown, XCOM 2, and Marvel's Midnight Sun. Solomon said that embarking on the new chapter, however, I'm incredibly grateful to have the opportunity to fulfill my dreams at Firaxx Games, and I'm thankful to everyone who enjoyed XCOM and Marvel Midnight Suns and my development of publishing partners who helped me bring those games to life. The press release also noted that a longtime Firaxx Studios head Steve Martin worked there, oh my god, will be leaving the studio after more than 25 years of organization. Now, Martin has replaced by Firaxx Games Chief Operating Officer Heather Hans, who also promoted to the studio head. Now, in Take-Two's financial third quarter report, it noted that a large contribution to GAAP net revenue were NBA 2K23, NBA 2K22, Grand Theft Auto Online, and Grand Theft Auto Online 5, Empires and Puzzles, Toon Blast, Hyper Casual Portfolio, Red Dead Redemption 2, Red Dead Online, World with Friends, Merge Dragons, and Toy Blast. Noticeably, Marvel's Midnight Sun was not on the list. Zelnick also said during the earnings call, we are seeing softness in terms of consumer demand, particularly for console products and recurring customer spending related to console products. Now, the company had previously canceled a planned Switch version of the game earlier this month, noting that Nintendo's Switch version of Marvel's Midnight Suns will no longer be offered as part of the updated plans. So, when you see things happen, right? Now, when this game came out originally, I said it's not going to do very well, right? Again, the XCOM market is a niched market in general, okay? It's not like a mass-selling thing. So, their sales, you would hope, are not like, we need to sell 10 million copies like a Ragnarok or anything like that, right? Now, you can like the game. It could be a very great game to play, right? But it's not a popular game. Games like this, and it's sad that the Marvel brand itself has been damaged. It has. The Marvel brand has been damaged big time. For some reason, it doesn't equate from the people that read the comics, that now the new generation that loves the movies, something's getting lost in between. with the Marvel IP. Okay, Marvel games do not sell well. Now, obviously, someone's going to say in chat right now, what about Spider-Man? Okay, Spider-Man is the most popular character on planet Earth when it comes to Marvel. That's proof. That's just fact. Okay, so saying that Spider-Man's successful and then all other things are not, it's just you're taking the outlier. The rest of the characters just don't have that appeal. Look at Marvel's Avengers. Okay, something went wrong with that title. Something went wrong with the company that was making the game. Then you look at Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy is a fantastic game. Got acclaim everywhere. Sell very well. Still made money, but didn't sell very well. Okay, now the title of this, what's going on, Eddie? The title of this is After Poor Initial Sales. Okay, it doesn't mean they didn't make money from this game. They made money from the game, but it didn't hit the potential of what they thought it was going to make. And I believe that the Marvel IP is just damaged. Just straight up damaged. You can see it in the theaters. Now, people are going to talk about, well, this movie made $1 billion, whatever. There's less people going to see the movies. Movie prices are up and attendance is down. Okay? There's less people going to watch these films. There's less people watching the shows. There's less people buying the games, playing the game. Okay? And this is just a fact of the industry. And something is majorly wrong when a Marvel game, now us nerds, okay, that love Marvel, something is majorly wrong when you can make a Marvel game. When we were kids, we would take anything Marvel. Right? Marvel games were phenomenal. And now we're like, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be good or not. And it's just kind of weird. Travis says, what's lost in the Marvel? The company is trying to destroy Marvel, the comics, and they're doing that, and they can eventually transition away from comics completely. Well, the comic industry is absolutely bombing as well, Travis. Speaking of Spidey, seeing Ghost Spider the other day. I love Spider-Verse game, but it has to be done right. We're going to go see Spider-Man tomorrow afternoon, after the podcast, if we have a podcast, or anyway, taking my son to go see it. He decided to go see that. You say popular, I hear ass kisser. What do you mean when you say popular? Like popular, like... I don't understand the correlation of popular, I hear ass kisser. MAGA's destroying American comics? Well, I don't think MAGA's destroying American comics. I think American comics are destroying American comics, and people are going to make MAGA better. You see what I'm saying? Like, MAGA is the new hot item, is the new thing in this industry, right? The U.S. comic are killing our own comics. The stories are trash. Everything is just bad. So everyone's like, I want to go find new comics. So independent comic companies are coming up. People on YouTube that make their own comics, like Eric July with Rippaverse has made his own comic. Who's the other person? I think Cloudfish TV makes their own comic. I think Flash makes his own comic. I mean, there's a lot of people, okay, making their own comics now because the comic industry is just absolute trash. What used to sell millions of issues is selling hundreds, maybe thousands of issues. Yeah, Ethan Van Sciver, thank you. Yeah, with Cyberfrog. Like, there's so many independent guys and girls that are making their own comics, okay, that the comic industry is brutal. And you look at what's happened with the Marvel IP. It's amazing, right? Like, you look at the Marvel IP and think, oh, that's going to sell big time. Like, we all have a game in mind in our heads right now that you would love. If you're a Marvel fan, you would love to see a MMO. You would love to see another Ultimate Alliance. You would love to see a fighting game. You would love to see something with the Marvel IP, but yet, if and when those things come, no one buys them because there's a disconnect of the developers making the game to what it is. Right? It's like it's just missing something. The game that we're all asking for is not being made, and then when they come out with these Marvel games, everyone's like, I'm telling you right now, regardless of what people say, the card system is what killed Marvel's Midnight Suns. That's what throw a whole bunch of people off this game. Even though the actual card system, Baitwalker, friend of the channel, also a streamer, okay, I watched him one night and he went over it with me in the Discord. He was streaming it on Discord, And I went in and I started watching him play, and he showed me a whole bunch of stuff. I asked a bunch of questions, and I was like, man, this actually seems like a really good game. And I feel like that's a detriment to what the company did to sell this game. I don't think they did a good job marketing the game, right? I don't think they did a very good job of marketing this game. And I think the card system is what really killed it. People looked at that card system and was like, I'm out. I'm not doing the card system. Even though the card system and the way you do it, it's actually really good. They're intentionally sabotaging comics. New Spider-Man arc proves it. I don't know anything about the new Spider-Man arc, Travis. Stealth says, yep, that was me. I'm telling you, Stealth, there's a lot of people that looked at that and said, oh, that looks fun. And then you saw the card system, you're like, ugh. And then when the reviews came out, they talked about like the story elements and the relationship stuff inside there. Like, who asked for that? Who asked for a Marvel game that's like, you know what would be really fun? If we could go on a date with Miss Marvel or Blade. Card strategy system does not work in video game. Maybe a board game. I think I think it can work, Water. It can work if it's done really well. And their card systems works well. It's just they didn't sell it very well. Could it be that wet when they wait? Can use my brain. Nope, can't do that. It's not about that. When people look, board games is a billion-dollar business. Okay? And there's a lot of different board games out there. I used to. I created multiple board games. Haven't sold any of them because I've designed them, but just haven't had the money to mass produce them. But I make board games. Love board games. Okay? I used to go to board game night. And to see the industry of what it is and then show up to a board game, like, we have one of the most popular board game places, like number 2, I think number 1 over Amazon. Right? It's called Cool Stuff Games. I think that's what it's called now. I haven't been there in years. But they're the number 1 sellers of board games. But when you show up, right, when you show up to an actual event, a couple, I don't know, 50 to 100 people there. And they're all playing mostly card games. They're all playing Magic the Gathering. They're playing Yuzuka. Pardon me, was it Yuki? I forget what the other game is called. I've never played it. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Board games themselves, between the difficulty of board games and what it is very niche community. And I've been to conventions. I've sold. I've talked to the people in the industry. Such a niche. That's it. Yu-Gi-Oh! That's it. Right? It's such a niche market, and yet it's a tremendous amount. But this is why board games that use your brain and are very complicated, they're like $70, $80. The average family's not going to buy a board game for $70, $80 because the downside of a board game is that you need at least 3 people to play the game to make it fun. Right? Now let's bring it back to when you play strategy games like this, like a XCOM. Sure, you can play by yourself. But a lot of people don't want to sit down, play a video game, and be like, what am I supposed to do? The people that like you and me and other people in the chat that like the Diablos coming out today, that like to mid-max and look at the scales and the stats and see what the things, majority of the population is just like, take gear, put it on guy, hit thing, make numbers go up. That's it. The other people are like nitty-gritty, let me see what I can get, I want to make the good build with the percentage of points. That is such a small niche community of that, right? So Marvel's Midnight Suns fails, in my opinion, because it was too board gamey, nerdy, and not just play the game and have fun, right? Even when there's moments of play the game, have fun, there's a lot of like boring stuff in between. Are you a D&D? No, you get overshadowed. I played D&D when I was younger. I haven't played D&D in about 25 years. Yeah, I don't know the new storyline. What's going on, Big Bobby? Why can't we get a Marvel game that's like Division? That's what I'm saying, right? Like, the player base that likes Marvel, I'm telling you, I don't know if you played, Big Bobby, I don't know if you played Marvel's Avengers. Marvel's Avengers was, the potential of that game was so wasted. So wasted. That could have been the best game. That was your division game. But they ruined it with microtransactions and the lack of content. And the lack of content for what was in it. Right? The Marvel brand is literally damaged across the board. And no one can tell me otherwise. No one can tell me otherwise. Right? You look at 7 movies came out. Okay? I think 5 of them failed to make money. Right? And then the ones that made money because it was like the 3rd installment or the 4th installment. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating as a Marvel guy, right? And I'm not an uber comic book guy. When I was younger, and I can show you all the comics and stuff that I have. Okay, I loved it. Then I just went away. Something just like disconnected with me. If it was, dating in high school and then going off to college and getting invested into other things, right? I just lost comics itself, and then Marvel games. I waited my whole life for Marvel films. Like, we had X-Men films and stuff like that, but to see Hulk on the big screen in Avengers, right? And look at that and go, oh man, this is gonna be awesome. And then look at Hulk now as Beta Hulk. It's frustrating to look at all these games that come out and look at Spider-Man and go, this is amazing, man. The Spider-Man game is amazing. And then you look at Marvel's Avengers and how they just wrecked it. And then you looked at all these other games and how they just wreck it. And they just buy the Marvel IP. They get that copyright for that. Quintar, thank you very much for the 5 gifted memberships. They just buy they use the Marvel IP and then they just shit it out. They just shit it out. It's like there's no reason. It's like, hey, you know what we could make with Marvel? We should make like a Mario Kart game with Marvel. And we'll have like Wolverine driving a cart, and we'll go over little boxes, and they'll make cool little business lines. You know, let's get a Sims-like game, and let's make it in the Marvel universe. We'll make it like the Sims 4, but it'll be like Marvel's. It'll be an amazing hit. It's like, what are you talking about, man? People want as many bad guys as possible. Fight as many bad guys as possible. I want to be Gambit. I want to be Wolverine. I want to be Vision. I want to be all these characters. Give me Magneto. Give me... They're like, no, we're going to play dress up in Barbie. We're going to sell you cosmetics. It's so frustrating. Thanks for becoming a member. Insomniac, look, me and Krebsy have done this back and forth for months, maybe even years now. We both agree that Insomniac should make all Marvel games from here on out. Okay? They should do what Marvel's the films did. They introduce like Spider-Man, they introduce like Wolverine, they introduce a whole bunch of characters, and then you make the Avengers game. Right? You do it just like they did the movies. I've said in the past that I would like to see a gaming Marvel gaming universe. The way I want it done is I want single player games across the board, across everything, right? Marvel still controls all the stuff. So if they have like Insomniac make the Wolverine game, and then they have, I don't know, Massive make a Captain America game, and someone makes a Black Panther game, and then someone comes in and takes just the voice actors. They can look all different across the board, okay? So they're all separate individually, but it's the same voice actors. And then when they make the Avengers game by some company, they pull the same voice actors, so you feel like you're playing the same type of thing across the board. Be like if I said, Diablo 4 should be a first-person shooter. It's not Diablo's fault. It's mine for being an idiot. Well, if you're gonna if you take the Diablo brand, this is what it's like, Travis. If you take the Diablo brand and then all of a sudden make it into The Sims, okay? I mean, that's it. That's basically what it's like. We needed Resistance and Sunset Overdrive first. And then they could work on Marvel games. Bring the roots up to the game. But at the same time, you don't want the same company making the same things over and over and over and over. Right, well, EA's making a Iron Man game too, right? Stop, you're making me happy. Like, how hard is it? Like, put someone... I understand they want to put suits and they're like, you know, what's hot with the kids nowadays? Well, they really like those Marvel characters. The superheroes are hot. Let's make some. All right, well, what can we, what's a really popular character? Oh, I know. Let's take Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel's a really popular character. Oh, let's also make Agatha. Agatha was a really popular character. Let's make a TV series about her. People really love that. Let's make another show of Echo. Yeah, Echo sounds like a really popular character. Let's take this absolute nonchalant character that no one gives two shits about, and let's make a season. You know what? You know what, Steve? You're absolutely right. We should do that. Yeah, my impersonations, everyone's back from the 20s. That's the people running the businesses now. I don't think you have to play games, though, Bobby, right? I don't think you have to play games. Right? I don't play all the games anymore. But you got to have, like, your finger on the pulse, right? Right. Right, Jason. Let's take a character that doesn't speak and give her a show. It's going to be really amazing. Really amazing. And I'm not making fun of her, okay? But it's going to be really great television when every person that's in a scene with her has to explain what's going on. Or you're going to have subtitles on. So, or are they going to have... Oh, no, because she'll be signing, right? Like, it was happening already in the show with Hawkeye, right? When they had it. Like, she's signing, and the person that's in the scene with her is like, no, we won't do that. Right? It's like, I don't want a story like this. I don't. I'm sorry. I understand that people want to see themselves in a show, but that does not make good television. Let's have a bad guy. Right? Let's have a bad guy. Like, can you imagine a bad guy in James Bond? Okay. Instead of a bad guy in James Bond who basically, you know, how they always tell their monologue. How they always tell their monologue of, no, Mr. Bond, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take over the world and blow up this, and this is the reason I'm doing it. Now let's replace that with a person that doesn't speak. Let's take that person that doesn't speak, and now when Mr. Bond comes in, he's like, what are you, trying to take over the world? What? You're going to blow up the base? Right? And it's like, that does not make good television. That does not make a good film. I'm sorry. Let's go on, Big Mo. So, Fairfax, or Fairaxis, or sales for Midnight Suns. Shame, but I'm going to get it when it comes on super sale in about another 6 months during Christmas time, and I'll pick it up for like $10, $15, and I'm sure I'll have a lot of fun playing it with the card system. But the Marvel brand is broke. The servers need to hurry up. I know everyone in here is just here waiting for Diablo. That's the only reason you guys are here right now. You're like, I guess I'll watch 30 until Diablo servers come up. Just wait for Game Pass. That's true. That is true. It's an EA game, isn't it? It's an EA game? What? That's coming to EA Play. That's on Game Pass. I'm gonna watch Spider-Man tomorrow. Tomorrow we have tickets for 3:45 in the afternoon. I paid the free trial. It was good. I know it's good, Mo, but that's not what the story is. The story is that it had poor initial sales. It didn't make the charts. It failed, and they fired 30 people because of it. And people that worked in the company for 20 years and 25 years are now gone, right? So something is wrong with the brand. Something is wrong with the Marvel IP, not with the developers that made the game, because every Marvel game that's been coming out as of late, besides Spider-Man, okay, besides Insomniac, every Marvel game that's come out has bombed. Look at Marvel Future Revolution, the mobile game, which was actually really fun, right? Done. It's done. Okay, right? Marvel's Avengers, done. Guardians of the Galaxy that came out, which was a phenomenal game, done. Okay, like, and I mean done because it just didn't make the sales. Like, obviously, you can still go play it and whatnot, but the brand of Marvel is just not what it used to be. And I don't know if it's because it sucks or if because people are burnt out of just Marvel in general because there's so many things, but Marvel's always been around. We always had Marvel games, right? We've always had the Deadpool game was a fun game. People loved Marvel Heroes. But when that came to console, we waited so long for that game to come to console. And then when it came to console, it was like 3 months, 6 months later, it was done. Publishers for 2K games don't think it's coming, but it might be hit the Game Pass. Oh, it's coming to Game Pass. It's going to EA Play. It's an EA game, is it not? Oh, Midnight Suns is 2K? Oh, it's 2K, not EA. Okay. It's still coming to Game Pass. It's still coming to Game Pass. It's still going to come to Game Pass. Do you know why? Because if they don't make the sales, Microsoft will pay them the money up front. They'll be like, how much money do you need? Yeah, we need a game this month. All right, hold on. Change? No? You know what? Here, just keep it. Just keep it all. Don't worry about it. Go to Game Pass. Rotten Tomatoes so far, it's at 95%. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. Right, verse 2. Yeah, I think it'd be good. The first one was good. First one was good. You know the reason I didn't pick this up? I was debating in January. I was like, maybe I should pick it up. But then I was like, well, Hogwarts comes out. And then when Hogwarts came out, then I was like, oh, well, then Jedi Fallen comes out. And then Jedi Fallen Orders, or sorry, Survivor came out. And then now Diablo's out. Speaking of things that are broke and buggy. So the next story I want to talk about is Redfall. Now, I said that Redfall had problems before Microsoft. Everybody wants to blame Microsoft, right? Everybody wants to blame Microsoft for Redfall's problems. Well, Redfall had problems way before Microsoft even came in. Okay? So inside the making of Redfall, this article comes from Bloomberg from Jason Schreier. After Microsoft paid $7.5 billion for its parent company, Arcane Studios, Redfall has been blasted by critics and players. Okay? It says, Redfall multiplayer shooter set to fictional Massachusetts island. We already read that. It seems to be an issue with every element reviewer. In the end, Redfall feels unpolished, underdone, underwhelming, and uncomfortable. The high-profile dud exceeds the pain for this year's Microsoft Xbox division, which has struggled to produce hits and watches planned $69 billion acquisition for Activision Blizzard gotten tripped up by the U.S. and regulators. Now, the video game analyst professor said Redfall's failures highlights a significant gap between Microsoft's lofty aspirations and actual products, which also calls into question Microsoft's ability to establish long-term franchises on its own strength rather than buying them outright. Now, Microsoft's declined to comment. In a review interview with the YouTube channel, Kind of Funny Games, Xbox boss Phil Spencer said that Redfall's review scores were significantly lower in the internal metrics, suggesting that the lackluster debut may have caught the company off guard. This blows me away. When he came in and said that Xbox was significantly under the internal metrics, what internal metrics were they looking at for this game? Right? What metrics were they looking at for this game? I'm still baffled by this because anyone with two eyeballs and a brain in between their ears could look at Redfall and be like, this game is not complete, but their internal metrics said, oh, it's double digits. Okay? But the makers of Redfall, the mediocre reception was no big surprise. The project suffered from unclear direction, frequent parental lack of staff, according to more than a dozen people who worked on the game, speaking anonymously, of course, because they were not authorized to discuss it publicly. A spokesperson for Redfall's publisher, Bethesda Softworks, declined to comment. Well, it's always great when they decline to comment, right? Xbox declined to comment. Bethesda declined to comment. The developer of Redfall began in 2018. Oh, my. Yeah, let's do that math-wise. 18, 19, 19 to 20, 20 to 21. Out then. 21 to 22, 22 to 23. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. It was supposed to come out in 22. Okay. So 5 years, the company was encouraging its studio to develop games that could generate revenue beyond the initial sales. A popular trend dubbed games as service. Which was taking off in the late 2010s thanks to lucrative hits like Overwatch and Fortnite. According to people familiar with the process, ZeniMax was strongly urging developers as its subsidiaries to implement microtransactions. That's it, or that is. Okay, recruiting opportunities with games for players to spend real money, saying outfits, their characters. Although this was an absolute mandate, several ZeniMax franchises such as Fallout, Doom Wolfenstein would soon release new versions incorporating online multiplayer and monetization options. That's weird. You know, that's weird. Imagine a company when they were trying to take games and move them into monetization, like Fallout 76, before Microsoft purchased them, and how they were making Redfall to be just like Fallout 76. I wonder if we're going to have the same scenarios, same situation that Starfield was supposed to be like a Fallout 76-esque type of thing as a live service game, but they changed it halfway in between development. Who knows? I guess Jason Schreier will find out, and we'll talk about it later. Okay. Multiplayer tensions. Since its founding in 1999, Arcane had become known for games called immersive sims, single-player experiences in which players strive to overcome obstacles in multiplayer ways, from combat to stealth. Okay. Yet, from the start, Redfall was pitched to staff as a multiplayer Arcane game, which some team members said they found confusing. Now, whether the sort of gameplay in the studio specialized in would technically be possible in multiplayer environments was an open question. Developers under Smith and Baird said that two leads were outwardly excited about this project. Progressed failed to provide clear direction. Staff members said that over time, they grew frustrated with management frequently. Frustrated with management. I mean, I don't work for these companies, but I knew exactly what the problem was. Shifting references to other games, such as Far Cry and Borderlands, okay? And left each department with varying ideas of what exactly they were making. Throughout the development cycle, the fundamentals tensions between single-player and multiplayer design remained unresolved. Because it's always good as an upper management to not talk about the things that people want to talk about. Hey, what are we doing with the single-player and multiplayer? Get to it later. Right? Design remained unresolved. Smith and Brer did not respond to requests for comment. Of course not. Because they know what they did was wrong. When you're hiding, just say nothing. Arcane was also understaffed, said people familiar with the production. The Studio Austin office employed less than 100 people, sufficing for a relatively small single-player game like Prey, but not enough to compete with multiplayer behemoths like Fortnite and Destiny, which are developed by teams of hundreds. Even additional support of ZeniMax Wisconsin-based Roundhouse Studios and other outsourcing houses couldn't fill the gaps, they say. Morale for Arcane suffered. Veteran workers were interested in developing multiplayer games left in droves. By the end of Redfall's development, roughly 70% of Austin's staff who had worked on Prey would no longer be the company, according to people familiar with Bloomberg analyzed. Imagine being a game developer. You're looking for a job, and you want to work for a company. You want to work for a studio that you align with. And what I mean by that is you're like, man, I really like Red Dead Redemption. I want to work for Rockstar because they work on single-player games, and that's what I want to work with. I want to work at, I want to work for Insomniac because they're working on single-player games, and they're making great games. And then you get the job there, and you're so excited. What's the next? You guys are known for your great single-player games. What's the next one up on the thing? We're making a microtransaction multiplayer game live service. And they're like, yeah, I don't want to be here. I want to go somewhere else. Okay? Now, I applaud the people that left. What I don't applaud is the people that stayed. Each their own. Maybe they stayed because they had to pay the rent or whatever or whatnot. But because you don't like doing something, doesn't mean you should shit on it and make it just and not care. You see what I'm saying? The developer, the one employee that left, in that 70% that left from Prey, left and said, you know what, I'm out. Because they saw the writing on the wall. The other people are like, yeah, I'll work on it. And they're like, yeah, I don't really like this. I should have left with Ted 3 months ago when he left. I'm just going to not care. Like, you should strive to make that game so much better, right? I mean, literally, there's a guy who was just happy to be in the industry. He literally tweeted out a picture of the box. And he's like, I'm so proud I worked on this game. I get the morale of it. Like, he's really proud because maybe that's his first game he worked on, and he's happy to see it. But this is a crap game. I would take this off my resume ASAP, because if anyone sees you worked on this game, you're like, ugh, we don't want to hire this guy or girl, right? So, continuing here, it says, filling vaccines became a challenge, okay? Within the industry, ZeniMax had a reputation of paying lower than average salaries, so that's always good, right? And convincing some progressive or moderate video game developers to move to Texas could be difficult due to the state of conservative social policies. It's always got to bring the politics in. Since Redfall hasn't yet announced the studio couldn't describe the details of prospective employees, the predicament and exacerbated the staffing issues. Sources familiar with the process said Arcane wanted to hire recruits with experience on multiplayer shooters, but the people who applied were by large looking for work on single-player immersive games. Imagine that. Imagine someone applying to a game going, yeah, I really like the single-player things, and I worked on single-player games. I would love to work on your single-player game. And they're like, yeah, we want you to work on a multiplayer game. Meanwhile, on September 21st, 2020, Microsoft purchased ZeniMax for $7.5 billion. And it was an ambitious move that gave Xbox control over lucrative franchises such as Doom, Fallout. It was also upscaling Starfield and role-playing game from makers of widely popular Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. Although adding Arcane's portfolio wasn't the main goal, it was potentially the nice bonus for Microsoft, particularly if Redfall turned out into a hit. See, Microsoft literally bought the company and said, oh, you guys are working on this game? And I bet you ZeniMax was like, yeah, you know what? You could buy us. We're working on all these games. We're working on this really cool game called Redfall. It's about vampires and stuff. It's coming along really good. And Microsoft's like, oh, yeah? That sounds great. That sounds great. We'll just take that and put it on our Game Pass model, and it'll be fantastic. Right? So the acquisition gave some staff at Arcane hope that Microsoft might cancel Redfall. Imagine that. You're working on a game, and you're like, woo, we just got bought out. That means we don't have to... High five. We don't have to work on this game anymore. I'm sorry, what? Oh, they still want us to work on it? Oh, all right, I guess. The developers wanted the game to be canceled, and Microsoft's like, yeah, we need a game on Game Pass. We bought you guys for $7 billion. You're going to give us something. Or better yet, let them reboot a single-player game. According to sources familiar with the production, instead of Microsoft maintain the hands-off approach, aside from canceling a version of Redfall that had been planned for rival Sony Corp's PlayStation. Oh, can I just say? So this was supposed to be a Sony PlayStation game. This was supposed to be a Sony PlayStation game. And Xbox is giving, they're just wrapping things in bows. Okay. Some of the most popular things that PlayStation has, Final Fantasy came to Xbox first, and they said, no, we don't want it. Spider-Man came to Xbox first, and they said, no, we don't want it. Redfall was on PlayStation, and they're like, we're gonna buy ZeniMax, and they're like, oh, we're taking that game. Like, PlayStation's been handing shit left to right. This is amazing. This is amazing. Microsoft maintained a hand-phone approach. Okay, so Microsoft allowed ZeniMax to continue operating as it was before with great autonomy. Microsoft Spencer would later say that kind of funny interview that the Xbox didn't do a good job early engaging at Arcane Austin. Did they do it at all? Did they do it at all? Did they show up and say, hey, show us something from Redfall? What were they hiding? This is upper management across the board. Management in Arcane Studios was garbage. Okay, 70% of the people left the project, and then Microsoft bought them. And then their upper management didn't check in with their management. Sony is smart. Xbox isn't. Well, they had no say in this Redfall, right? They got bought out, so they lose the stuff. And since it wasn't already in production, like it wasn't already done, like Deathloop and stuff like that, this was yet another one of those Deathloop games that they were working on, right? Get the exclusive for like 1 year or whatever it was. So I wouldn't say that's smart. Sony literally dodged a bullet, right? They dodged a bullet. So a poor compromise. Still, expectations remained high. During a 2021 press conference, Xbox positioned a bloody vampire extravaganza as one of the company's big upcoming releases, dramatically revealing is as the event show-stopping finale. And I remember specifically when they showed, I went, it's all right. Yet during the final frantic months, the remaining Arcane staff found themselves stretched thin, and the debut date was pushed back from Halloween of 2022 to early 2023, and then eventually to May 2nd of 2023. Along the way, Smith and other leaders assured the staff that the game would get exponentially better once the final art was implemented and the bugs were fixed. So what year is that supposed to be? Once the final art is implemented and the bugs are fixed, promising arcane magic. I love this magic. Bethesda had this BioWare magic, you know? Or not Bethesda. BioWare had this this magic as well. Other developers such as Electronic Arts Inc. and BioWare have been widely criticized for using similar languages. Yeah, gotta make the magic. The magic. In the end, Redfall, several people who played the game in 2021 were shocked to see how little ultimately changed, and the final glitchy product felt to some critics like a poor compromise between single-player and multiplayer ideas and failed to please the fans on either type of game. Harvey Smith recently said in an interview with the website Eurogamer that early on, he pushed back against the compulsory inclusion of the in-game store, but people who worked on the game said the remarks didn't square with how things played out. For the first 3 years, Redfall had significant microtransactions planned in place. Only in 2021, with the games as a service growing more controversial among gamers, did Arcane finally scrap it on wildly in-game monetization plans. Recently, Microsoft said that Arcane will continue working on improved Redfall, but a rough launch only raises the pressure of the rest of ZeniMax's lineup, particularly Starfield, which is scheduled to arrive in September in the internet industry, and we'll be watching to see the lessons that Microsoft has learned. Now, the disappointment of Redfall evidence Microsoft's desperate need to attractive content is needed to going into the best rival Sony and Nintendo and their own games. Analysts say that my hope is will be equate. What's that word? Inoculate Xbox from repeating similar mistakes in the future. I don't know that word. I can't say that word. I can't. So Redfall had major problems before, okay, Microsoft picked it up. And then they hide it, and the management didn't say anything about it. They were just trying to get out the door. And I knew, and I'm just a guy sitting in my room talking on the internet, and I knew this was microtransactions filled when they first showed it. Okay, and you could tell, like, just the way it was done. Okay, you could tell the way Marvel's Avengers was done, tell the way Gotham Knights was done, tell the way Redfall was done. It's baked into the foundation of what the game is. When you play it and see it, you look at it and go, this was what it was supposed to be, and they took it out, and then you can see a shell of what the game is today. It's Microsoft's fault, though? Their studio? No. Did you listen to the words that came out of my mouth, Mo? Redfall, sure, Microsoft's to blame for releasing it. But Redfall was broke and buggy and unfinished before Microsoft bought it. They had a set of plans that didn't know what they were doing. Okay? So it's not just... See, you're like blaming one to the... I'm blaming everybody. I said that Redfall, Arcane Studio had a problem. ZeniMax, Bethesda also had a problem. And Microsoft's, I said all upper man. I said this weeks ago when it came out. I said upper management across the board is to blame. But that's they take all blame, sure. And Phil Spencer coming out and taking it lump on the head, that's fine. That's what he's supposed to do. But you can't just blame Microsoft for making this, right? Especially, see, and this is the lose-lose situation, right? Because Microsoft says they're hands off. Okay? And people are like 50-50. They're like, well, it's because Microsoft, if a game's good, they're like, well, see, it's because Microsoft let their hands off of it. But then the game's bad, they're like, well, it's because Microsoft let their hands off of it. Right? And then it's the other side as well, where if a game's good, and this is why it's good, and it's going to... It's a lose-lose situation. Upper management across the board is the problem. Arcane's upper management talking to Bethesda and ZeniMax upper management, and then when they bought it out, they didn't communicate to Microsoft, and Microsoft's like, yeah, we believe in what you guys can do. You guys make award-winning games, single-player games. You guys are trying something new. We don't want to say anything. You guys do you, and we'll be okay with it. I wonder if the other broken games Microsoft will make Bethesda release Starfield. We'll see. Arcane's lucky that they got bought because I think they're going to be shut down. That's a big jump. Where were they being shut down? In what proof do you have that they were going to be shut down? Sony would have canceled it. Would have made sure it wasn't trash. I don't know about that, Travis, because this was supposed to be a live service game. This was supposed to be a microtransaction-filled live service game that Sony was investing their money into to make it. Starfield now with 15 frames per second. Cancel it. Not hands-on. Full cancel. But that doesn't make sense. If a company comes out and says that they're letting the company be their company, right? If you're the artist, Travis, and you're working, and all of a sudden I want to buy you, and then all of a sudden I start micromanaging you, you probably are not going to be too persuasive to work with me, right? Because I told you when I bought you that you would be on your own, still make the art that you want to make. I won't have any say in it. And you'd be like, oh, that's cool, right? But you're taking the other side. You're saying that if you were an artist and I bought you, that you would want me to micromanage you and do what I tell you to do instead of letting you be the artist that you want to be. And you think that the third-party games that Sony has is hands-off? You think they're always hands-on for everything? What makes more sense? Cancel a terrible game or let it come out to further ruin your reputation? But here's the thing. Does this game really ruin their reputation? I think it's a speed bump. I don't think it ruins the reputation. I think Cyberpunk 2077 ruins the reputation more for CD Projekt Red than Redfall makes it for Xbox. Because Redfall is just one little speed bump of a game that's on Game Pass of multiple games that are coming out for Xbox. Where CD Projekt Red, their next game will always be compared to their last game, which didn't work. After they said they weren't going to release it until it was finished. I have a feeling Microsoft knows that Starfield isn't going to be a hit system seller that it should be. And you're going to put a title that's huge on Game Pass day one. But I think that's the old way of thinking, Water. It doesn't need to be a system seller anymore. That's the thing. You're thinking that they have to sell systems. They don't have to sell systems. They're selling Game Pass. That's what they're selling. The system is just a way to get people to get Game Pass, but you can get Game Pass on PC, get it on your console. You're going to get it on your television set. You guys have to stop saying that it's a system seller. It's not a system seller. Sure, it will sell systems, but that's not what Xbox is going in for anymore. They haven't been going into that. Phil Spencer even said it. Well, it sells subs, or will people cancel after a month? Here's the thing. If they constantly come out with, like, I don't know what games they're bringing out this month, right? If there's, let's say, 7 games, 8 games. Let's say there's one game in each genre. There's a first-person shooter. There's a strategy game. There's a open-world game. There's an independent game. There's a whatever it is. Their job is to get you on Game Pass. If you get Starfield for that 1 month and you're like, you know what, that game wasn't good. But then all of a sudden you see another game coming out and you're like, oh, well, I'm interested in that. Am I going to pay $70? Well, I'll just keep my $10 subscription model for this month. Here's my issue. The only reason to have Game Pass is to play past games. They will never produce a quality game like they were back then again ever. I disagree. I think there's games that are going to hit the market that there's games on Game Pass that are good games. Right? Like, you can't say with a 100% of a doubt that games will never be like they were in the past. Forza, I know it's a racing game, is a fantastic game. It's a fantastic game. That's a brand new game when it came out. That wasn't an old game that came out. Right? There's games that will come out that will be great. No Man's Sky is on Game Pass. It's not a first-party title. Okay? That game alone, right? Yeah, it's an older game, okay, but it's a live service game. It constantly updates and whatnot. That's worth Game Pass. Game Pass works for people, like, for instance, my son this morning, yesterday, he played, and think about this. What I'm about to describe to you is what majority of people that have Game Pass is experiencing. This is why the growth is not exponential, but this is who's playing Game Pass. Are you ready? My son yesterday downloaded the train game. What is it called? Railway Empire 2. Okay. Then today he downloaded Car Mechanic, whatever, 21, right? Which is like 2 years old. Okay. The other day he downloaded a different game, right? If I had to buy these games, even if they were on sale, $5 here, $10 there, $20 here, okay, he could just play those games and try different games out and play them, right? Inside the ecosystem, if you go into Xbox and look down the thing of DLCs, add-ons, all this stuff, they're making more money off of that stuff than they are if someone going out and buying Redfall. You see what I'm saying? There's games that have so much DLC inside the things that are on Game Pass. Game Pass, they give you the base game. Then there's like these DLCs. You pay $5, you pay $10, you pay $15, whatever it is. That's where they're making their money. If you're a family guy, which you are, it's great, but I'm playing solely for myself. PlayStation 5 is better on everything. Well, Travis, you literally could have played a lot of the games that you've established and said the last couple days. It's on Game Pass. You would actually save a fortune because you wouldn't have to buy a game. You would just be paying $10 a month and playing the same games that you're already playing. Especially if you're a person that doesn't buy the brand new latest, greatest games for $70. If you buy the games that have been out for a year or two, then that would actually be a better deal for you. Throw a ton of things at you and hope something sticks. I mean, that's what Steam does every day, right? Every day. Yeah, you bought Outriders. I play Outriders on Game Pass. What was another game you played the other day? That was on Game Pass as well. Give me 1 second. I gotta go help my son for a second. All right. Yes, and I would rather give them my money than go. It's free on Game Pass. I want to support companies, not use blockbusters. But the game has already been supported. You see the logic? They got the money. So upper management for Redfall, Arcane, ZeniMax, Bethesda, Microsoft all failed. That's why Redfall failed. Now, is Starfield going to be the same way? Starfield was supposed to come out last year. They got id Software to come and help with the mechanics, the fighting, the gunplay. Going to be microtransactions in it, right? Is it going to come out? Is it going to be Redfall? If it is, it is. But if it comes out and it's fixed over the next 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, 18 months, look at a lot of games that people play nowadays. You had to wait 18 months for Cyberpunk to be to fix. You had to wait 19 months for Battlefield 2042 to be fixed. Right? Outriders was broke for 6 months and they had to fix it. What's another one? Another game. I see what you would rather buy a game at $8. Just, oh, it's included to me on sale. I mean, the sale at Game Pass means that they don't think anyone will buy it. I disagree. Okay. You buy a game at $8. Not at full launch. Okay, Travis. Buying a full price game at $60, $70. If I'm a developer, I'm just Bob the developer. Okay? I'm getting my paycheck every single week. Okay, regardless if you buy that microtransaction or if you buy the full price game, I've already gotten paid in full by the time that game comes out for you. Okay. Now, to buy a full price game, right? Right? To buy a full price game, you're then supporting the company so they can make a sequel or whatever. But you buy a game at $8 18 months later, 12 months later after the fact, you're not supporting the developers. That's a fire sale going on because they're like, we got to get something out of it. Look at the game I'm on right now. Generation 0. The game isn't good. You have to have a family as it's a short game. Yeah. Guess what? I downloaded it off Game Pass. This just in, MetaQuest 3, $500. Is that Canadian? Stealth, is that? And I want to make it clear, I'm not pro Game Pass here, right? It's just funny to me that a lot of games, you said, a lot of games that are on Game Pass are older games. And a lot of games that you wanted to play are on Game Pass. It's more about I want something and I'm willing to pay for it. So, broke as not to be able to get it. I'm getting Alan Wake 2 day one, full price, deluxe edition. Not regretting it. Cool. Right? Getting a game on day one, you're supporting not the devs. You're supporting the company that pays the devs. But the devs have already gotten their money. Do we really think in this day and age that there's a developer that's working their ass off on a AAA company and they've worked for 6 months and they're like holding a bowl of porridge out going, please, sir, may I have some more? Right? As they're waiting to get paid. They get paid. They have a salary. They get a weekly paycheck, bi-weekly paycheck, monthly paycheck. They get paid. They get paid to make that game. When the game comes out, sure, do they get bonuses and stuff? Hey, we hit our sales. Congratulations. This Christmas, if you're still working with the company, everyone gets a $200 bonus. Sweet. Right, Mo, but who wants to pay full price for everything? Do you go to the grocery store? Do we literally go to the grocery store and pay full price for everything? Like, no, what's on sale? Oh, buy one, get one. Buy two, get one. No one's like, hey, your pineapple, I see is buy one, get one. I would like to pay full price. Okay. Because I'm supporting the devs. Come on, Lurker. Still waiting for the PlayStation VR 2 to go down to $250. It'll drop down by the holiday season. Do you think it'll drop down? How much is it now? Isn't it $500 now? Water? There's no way they're putting it for $250. All right. I mean, pineapple is disgusting, period. Oh, for God's sakes. You know, Travis, there's one thing. There's a lot of stupid things you've said, but now you're saying pineapple's disgusting. For God's sake. Right, it's buy one, get one. Pineapple's the Dark Souls of fruit. No. Not the Dark Souls of fruit, Lurker. It's the Elden Ring. It's the Elden Ring of fruit. I don't like pineapple or oranges. You just don't like vitamins, I see. Gotcha. I gotcha. All right, the last thing I want to talk about this morning is PlayStation Showcase was great for Xbox. Now, I could read the article or I can listen to him speak and we can comment. Which one would you like? Would you like him to speak or would you like me to read? Go on, gaming. Not a fan of... Oh, I love fruit. I was a fruit baby. Now I lose my fruit to my son. My son's a Quest 3 has a Pro processor, better AR pass-through clarity, got rid of the tracking ring, and went with some other solution, so that's questionable. The tracking ring, the thing around your... That's just a barrier for your fist. Is that what you're talking about, Horseman? Or is it a different thing? I don't have a VR headset, so... Now that's the best thing you've said, Travis. I thought that ring, I didn't know there was a tracking ring. I thought that was so when you like swing, you don't smash your knuckles or whatever. That's it for finger tracking. Oh, see, I thought that was a barrier so that you didn't like bash your hands on something. I thought that was just a plastic ring. I didn't know there was actually like sensors in the ring. All right, so this is by Destin Laguirre. A PlayStation Showcase was great for Xbox. Last week's PlayStation Showcase. Get this a little bit bigger. Last week's PlayStation Showcase had a ton of exciting reveals. A remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, new details of Assassin's Creed Mirage, another killer glimpse at Alan Wake 2. But there was also one glaring flaw, and a lot of people have since pointed out. There weren't a whole lot of PlayStation exclusives on the show. That was my biggest concern as a non-PlayStation owner at the moment, that I don't want just a PlayStation for the one game coming out. Like, maybe I'm not interested in God of War, which I am. Maybe I'm not interested in Horizon, right? I do like single player, but what I'm saying is the majority of the population probably doesn't like those games, which is true because there's 122 million PlayStation 4s out there, and Horizon sells 10 million copies. God of War sends 10 to 20 million copies. So there's still 100 million people that own a PlayStation that are not buying those games, right? Over the long haul. So there's a lot of questions of show me the exclusives of different games and stuff that are coming out for PlayStation. But another Grand Theft Auto movie trailer, PlayStation earbuds, CGI concept for many more new PlayStation exclusives, and fans were left underwhelmed. Worse, some of those CGI concepts didn't even do a good job of teasing what you can expect from the full game. Sorry, fair game. He says, but that's what a game is exactly. So, a total of 4 PlayStation studios were presented at Showcase. 3 out of the 4 had CGI trailers for live service games with 0 gameplay, and the last studio showed gameplay for a game that was announced in September of 2021. That's a year and a half old of waiting. So, going back to the article, it says, there's always a lot of hype ahead of Showcase, and while PlayStation usually does a good job, at least attempting to manage expectations, it seemed a little different. The PlayStation blog promised a wealth of new games, and new IPs are headed to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation VR 2. And the switch from usual state of play to a full-blown showcase. And it felt like they were back at E3 territory, even though it's long gone. It says, back in 2021, a hype-up showcase revealed Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, Wolverine, Marvel Spider-Man 2, and God of War Ragnarok. That's the killer lineup. So understandably, there was expectations from the fans, which... I don't know if you can blame the fans, right? The expectations of the fans is you showed us all this stuff 2 years ago, right? So you're thinking you're hype because you're hype. You're a PlayStation guy, right? You want your plastic box that you sleep with, maybe you do other stuff with, that you want other stuff to come out so you can keep, keep in bed with you, literally and figuratively keep in bed with you. Some of you sleep with it. I know. Some of you sleep with your plastic boxes. Bloodborne 2 announced what actually happened. What actually shown didn't do that much, very much, or most. Metal Gear Solid Delta, a game some thought would be a PlayStation exclusive, is tremendously excited, but it also turns out to be able to play what Xbox or PC. Dreamcast guy says, if the Xbox showcase has lots of gameplay and some good exclusives, then it's going to be a mega dunk on Sony. Rewatched some of the PlayStation showcase this morning, and it's just really bizarre how it's all CGI and little details. One unexpected result of PlayStation Showcase was that it gave Xbox social team an easy win after it posted a graphic containing 12 games from PlayStation Showcase that would also be available on Xbox. Apart from the first, which, can I just say, is really funny. Like, one company shows for 45 minutes all these different games, and the other company does a tweet with the 12 pictures of these games. It says, yeah, we got them too. I mean, we live in a different world. We live in a different world, because before social media, you would show first. And if you showed those games on your system first and then they showed it on their event later, you're like, eh. But they were just like, yeah. Now, here's the thing. I hope Microsoft doesn't make the mistake of showing the exact same games that PlayStation showed that they did a picture of at their showcase. Those 12 games should not make an appearance at the Xbox showcase. And if they do, that's a loss. Right? That's a loss. Because I already know that if they showed it, I saw the games, and you said that those games are also on your platform. So if you show me those games at your showcase, that's a loss, at least for me. Okay. Apart from the first-party developers, Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy 16, a bought third-party exclusive, and a handful of PSVR 2 games, there was little to no way that the first-party games to get hyped about in PlayStation fan. The showcase spoke to Xbox fans as much as it did to PlayStation 5 players, which I'm sure Sony was hoping wouldn't be the case. Shinobi 602 on Twitter says the PlayStation Showcase was a D grade from the Shinobi perspective. While games like Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2, and Dragon Dogma 2 look great, I'm excited for Metal Gear Solid 3, and we still have no real picture of the PlayStation first-party studio future lineup, and CG trailers don't sell me on anything, which I understand, right? You get excited for CGI, but that just intrigues you to get to the next step of show me some information about the game, gameplay, something. So Destin says, this sets up Xbox to steal the limelight when they air his own showcase on June 11th. We already know Bethesda's Starfield will have its own dedicated showing. Forza Motorsports will also have an appearance, but in other much anticipated games are there too. I'm talking about Avowed, Hellblade 2, Fable, and more. Then it also could be injected of excitement that the Xbox addition to the hype of PlayStation Showcase is also generated. Now, the same thing that the PlayStation fans were getting super excited about, here's the Xbox fan, right? Destin's more of an Xbox fan than a PlayStation fan. He says he's not, but he does lean more towards Xbox than he does PlayStation. Okay? The problem I see here is now the Xbox fans, because they're like, Sony didn't have anything, you're now getting the expectations of yourselves going, we're going to have a much better show than Sony, right? Like you're on a team. Like, you sit down to watch, you put a green Xbox shirt on, you put your baseball cap on, you got your drink sippy cup with the Xbox logo on it, you got your refrigerator that you open up at the Xbox One and you pull it out, right? You have all your Xbox stuff, and you're hyped up for this, and then you might be let down in the exact same way that the PlayStation fans were let down, right? And then it goes back and forth. The PlayStation fans are like, oh, see, they had a thing, they don't have anything, and those games look like crap anyway. It's the same thing all over again, just on the other side. So Phil Spencer, he says, may have already teased anticipated Avowed could make an appearance, saying he's played good builds of Avowed. During a kind of funny XX showcase, I'm very enthusiastic about the showcase, he explained. We're going to announce some things that people haven't seen, some new games, and we're going to give updates to some of the things that we've already on the list, Spencer commented. And when asked if he expected updates on Avowed, Perfect Dark, Everwild, Fable, State of Decay 3, and Contraband, historically, PlayStation plays things pretty close to the chest. If it's instance, I think they determine that there's no clear picture about what to expect beyond 2023. That's a pretty big problem for some fans. We know it has Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, and Gran Turismo movie is on the way too, but I don't think anyone walked away feeling overly hyped about the rollout beyond 2023. Conversely, Xbox has so much that it has been developed for years, I have to imagine that it's set up for a massive W. See, just saying that, right? Just saying that is already your expectations. Your expectations are way higher. You know what my expectations of Xbox are? I want to see Fable. That's it. That's it. Just show me Fable. Anything else they show me, I don't care. Just show me Fable. And I'm not even a huge fan of Fable. I like Fable. I love Fable 1, 2, and 3, right? That's all I care about. Just show me Fable, okay? They can announce Gear 6. They can announce whatever else they want. I'll be like, oh, that's cool. I'm more excited to see the Summer Game Fest and the third-party games that are not included into Xbox or PlayStation about Transformers Reactivate, right? I'm more excited about that game than I am anything from first-party titles of any console or plastic box, okay? So, third-party games hitting on Game Pass day one, or dare I say, its first look at Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones, cool. If they show it, cool. And when it comes out, I already know what the game is. Tomb Raider. It's Uncharted, right? We've already played it. We've been there, done that. Now it's just nostalgia because it's Indiana Jones. God, I hope it's not Indiana Jones like spin-off of Dials of Destiny, right? That would suck. But let's not get too excited because ultimately, what leads to kind of disappointment many have had after PlayStation showing. Well, you're already there, I have to say. He's already there. Come on, Xbox. It's your time to shine, and let's see what you've got. Yeah, see, he's already there. He doesn't want to get too excited, but he's literally rooting on. Come on, Xbox. Time to shine. Right? So, look. Xbox, I hate to say it, doesn't have to do much. It doesn't. Because you, the gamer, the hardcore fan, you can go. Okay? It's not like you're returning your Xbox to Microsoft and they're going to pay you full price for your Xbox system. You can sell your Xbox to GameStop or to a third-party person, okay? And you'll come back. If there's a game down the line that you like or you want that happens to be on Xbox, you'll come back. And if you don't come back by buying the next Xbox system, you'll get it on Game Pass. And then once you're on Game Pass, you'll go back and go, you know what? I don't really actually need an Xbox to play their systems anymore. I can just use my PC. And if you don't have a PC, you can just use your television. And if you don't have a television, you can just use your iPad. Or if you don't have an iPad, you can use your Android device. It doesn't really matter. They're going to get you in one way or another down the line. If it's today, tomorrow, if it's 1 month from now, or it's 5 years from now, Xbox will have you in their ecosystem in one way, shape, or form based on all the companies they're buying up and all the things they have. If you don't support Xbox here, you'll support Xbox on a third-party system. Unless you're a super diehard person that says, I'm not buying anything that Microsoft owns, and by all means, good luck to you, all right? Because that's just like any other company in the world saying you're not going to buy something at Walmart, or not going to buy something at Target, or not going to buy something at Starbucks, right? Lots of things out there, lots of subsidiaries, lots of different companies that they own. You're going to be, some way, shape, or form, giving money to Microsoft down the road. I'll be reading good for a while. I'll be reading or eating. I'll be on Game Pass. Spider-Man and Miles Morales were 10s, and you may not agree, but it was so, and I'm okay more than the same. I mean, that's fine. Spider-Man, good game. I love it. I don't know if I'm going to buy the system, though. I might just wait for a PC. Play it on PC. It's not going 230. I had faith in Microsoft, but what they've shown, it's literally at the point of $500 doorstop. I can play those games on Game Pass PC. Exactly, though, Water. That's my point. You don't need to buy an Xbox. If you have an Xbox right now, you've already given the money. And if you sell your Xbox, fine. But if you want to come back and try the games out, if you're the gamer, you have a PC, you're still going to give them $10. You're still going to buy a microtransaction. You're still going to get something from them. Xbox has nothing more than a very expensive paperweight. You could say that. Anybody can say that with anything. If you're not a fan of that other thing, it's a doorstop. Doorstop. If all goes Xbox, and that's my only option, I'll stop gaming. I would like to caption that, Travis. I would like to caption that. Because I guarantee you would not hold to that. I guarantee you. All of gaming. If it went that direction the way I described, you would never game again. I will love to frame that and put it up on my wall. Right. If you don't like Walmart, but got a Sam's Club, right? You like Walmart. If you aren't going to get to buy an Xbox, they want you to get a Game Pass. Yeah. In some way down the line, you're going to, right? If you're playing PC games, maybe you're on Linux, maybe you're on Mac, but I think, what is it? 95% of people are using Windows. Travis, I don't need to go for it. I know you're full of shit, right? Saying that you'll never play games again. Games. Ever again. Meaning that you would never be able to touch any game ever again down the line. If they come out with a Spider-Man 5, 10, it's on a cell phone, it's on everything. Anything. Any game. Any game. Any game. You said stop gaming. You'll stop gaming. Any game, meaning across the mobile, television, cloud, on your system, something that you already own that you can plug in that nobody knows that you're in your little shack, in your shed, and you just plug in your GameCube just to play a game. Bullshit. Bullshit. They need the content. I play it before I join the ecosystem. I'll buy the box with most games I play. I have zero interest in PC or Xbox. Sony's the only Sony for my gaming. It'll be Sony exclusive, and I'll buy it solely on it. No, I meant new games. Oh, that's not. If it goes Xbox, that's only my opinion, I'll stop gaming. What you said. Stop gaming. Goes Xbox. Stop gaming. If it ever just goes all Xbox, you can never play any other game ever again. I've already clipped it. I'm going to print it out. I'm going to put it on my wall. See, you type, but you don't actually think of what you're saying when you type it. Will the Shack have power? He'll be on a cycle. He'll be rolling the cycle and playing. And if he stops, it's a game itself. If you stop pedaling the bicycle, the television shuts off. If it goes all Xbox, I will never play any new games. That better? Sure, but I already got the other one clipped, so you're already changing the goalposts. When people make statements like that, you should run for grain of salt clip. I should. I don't have it. I don't have it. Dun, 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 dun. Hold on. I can play the. Do I have the? I don't think I have the sound bites. No. No, that's the clap. No, I don't have the sound bites. I love people that just I'm messing with you, Travis, but it's just funny. Funny. I'm never gonna play gaming again. I'm never gonna play. Wait, Xbox. Let me set the scenario for you. Are you ready for this, Travis? Are you ready? In 2030, you'll be like 40, 42, right? I don't know how old you are. You'll be in your 40s then. Don't forget this because everyone has goldfish brain. Xbox, all of a sudden, they go on their buying spree. They happen to buy, right? Because Sony's losing money, so they have to sell off Spider-Man. They just got to sell it off. They can't own the rights to Spider-Man anymore for the movie industry. They sell it off, And then Marvel's like, we're looking for new people to make Spider-Man, right? And then Spider-Man comes to Xbox, and not only does it come to Xbox, but it comes to Game Pass. The next latest, greatest Spider-Man game that you just can't not play, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, I got to get it on Game Pass. $10 because there won't be stores for you to buy used games. It'll all be digital. So we can't go to the store and get anything. So you only can buy it off of one of the things in the cloud gaming world. If someone broke into Travis's house and replaced his PlayStation 5 with a PC or a Series X, find it as a hate crime and not burglary. I won't buy Game Pass ever. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Okay. That's fine. I'll never know. I'll never know, Travis. But just know, if you ever play anything that Microsoft owns, for that split second, you'll be like, 30 was correct. You'll know. I'll know. But he'll know. Just know. No. You'll log in. You'll play. Here's how Travis will get around it. See how he says, I won't buy Game Pass ever? But he didn't say he won't play Game Pass ever. He just said he won't buy Game Pass ever. He'll go to his friend's house. He'll go to his friend's house and buy it. Hey, what's that? What's that thing? Oh, this is cool. Is this on Game Pass? It is? I didn't buy it. I'm okay. I'm okay. I didn't buy it. I can still play it. I told him I would never buy Game Pass. Exactly what he's gonna do. When it happens, he'll use the skills to learn in Diablo a temporary raise from the dead. Yeah, just know, just me and you, Travis, right? Me and you. Touch an Xbox controller or play anything on Game Pass, you'd be like, God, I'll know, you'll know, no one else will know. Fine. Why my microphone dies out every once in a while. So I did purchase Diablo. I did purchase it. I had gift cards, so I got $30 off from just playing. I got my free points from playing Game Pass. I got $30 in gift cards for just doing achievements. Thanks, Microsoft. We're not all as lucky as Stealth. Did you guys see what Stealth did? Stealth logged in yesterday. He logged in yesterday, and he had a just for you sale. Just for you. My just for you sale was F123 for like, I don't know, like $10 off or some shit like that. Stealth, it's because he's too kind. It's because he's from Canada. Okay. He got the Ultimate Edition, which is $100 for 70% off or 69% off, whatever it was. He paid $30 for a brand new Diablo game. I don't know how it happened, but he did it. We're gonna give him a round of applause. Round of applause for Stealth, because It's because Canadians are nice. Exactly right. It pays off to be nice. Yeah, and I looked on mine, and I looked, and I reset it, and I was like, maybe it'll happen. Maybe it'll happen this hour. Maybe no. I went to dinner. Out for dinner. When I got home, I wasn't there in time. I saw the post in Discord. I was like, this is a serious story here. Okay, I was eating my pizza. We were at a pizza place yesterday. I was eating my pizza. Okay, barbecue chicken pizza. Okay, munching it down. I was like, oh, let me check my phone real fast. I pull my phone out. And I see Stealth go, 30. Is it? Can you see it? And I was like, oh my God. I started eating the pizza faster. I was like, we got to get home. I was like, I got to see if it wasn't on the phone. I couldn't buy out. I didn't see anything. And when I got home, it was already too late. If it was there, it was gone. He got it. Yeah, he got it for ridiculous. Yeah, 120. Oh, it's 129 Canadian, right? Not US. Got it for 40. We have a good pizza place over here. I think it's a chain. It's called NYPD Pizza. It's actually pretty good. Not the greatest. Not the greatest. And I come from New York, so like the shittiest hole in the wall pizza joint in New York is better than the best pizza here in Florida. Just saying. That's fact. I cannot find. It's the water. The water here in Florida, where they use to make the dough, is just not the same. He did something. No, he showed. Look. I'll show you. You guys see the picture? We have that picture. Let's see. It says just for you. Just for you. Oh, it's other. Yeah, look. If you see it, it says right here. See the pink down below? It says just for you. It's a sale that goes on just for you. It happens, every once in a while for certain games or whatnot. Right? $100. Okay. $100, 70% off. Ultimate Edition. I mean, fantastic. I am 100% jealous. Chicago's got pretty good pizza. I'm not a big fan of the deep dish pizza, Eddie. I was in Chicago for about a month and a half filming stuff years ago. It was like 2006. And I went to what it's called. Is it Gino's? Is that what it's called? The deep dish pizza? I wasn't a big fan of the deep dish pizza. Now, I did stop at before I got to the Cubs game. I went to opening day of the Cubs and Cardinals back then. I did stop at the crappiest looking hot dog stand outside, and man was that good. I got a brats. Oh, so good. The real Chicago pizza, not the tourist Chicago pizza. Yeah, everyone's like, you gotta go. Is that what it's called? It's called Gino's. I think it's called Gino's. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong place. Whatever that famous place is in Chicago. It's right in the heart of downtown. Yes, Geno's. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's like, you gotta go. And we waited so long to get our food. And we got it. And I was just like, ugh, this is not good. This is not good. I get it. If you're from Chicago, you like it, but I like Sicilian pizza too, but I like the thin stuff. And that's another thing. Pies in New York, like a slice is like gigantic, right? A slice here is like it's like 8 slices make one slice. Deep dish can make anything taste good, even pineapple. Stone oven. We actually have a my father-in-law built a stone oven, and when he first built it, we would make pizzas all the time. It was delicious, and we don't even use it. I bought one of those stones that you could put inside the air fryer, and then we like make pizza or reheat pizza. Oh, it's so good. Get that crispy bottom. I'm getting hungry. It's time to eat. Just said pie. Talking about pizza. Yeah, pie. Quick. Hey, I'm walking here. Forget about it. Walking over here. I don't have the accent. I've been in Florida way too long. Now I have like a weird. Every time I went back to New York every summer, all the kids in the neighborhood would come over. They'd be like, "Oh, Mike's back." They'd be like, say ball, like ball. They're like, said ball wrong, bowl, right? Or water, wada. They would always make fun of me, and I'm like, no, it's not. I don't sound weird. The only time, Travis, you would hear me with my New York accent is my dad's really got it when he gets upset. Like if you hear me literally get angry at someone, all of a sudden, like it just clicks in there. Like a short circuit in my brain, and when it anger hits, it like touches it, and then all of a sudden the New York accent comes out. My dad does it. Just drop the F word in every sentence. Do I miss the city life? I never lived in the city. I lived in Long Island, so I lived in Elmont, Long Island. Um, when I travel a lot and did different things because when I was in the film industry, so I lived in Chicago for a bit. I lived in Austin, Texas for a bit. I went to Manhattan a bit. Went to LA. I don't like I like that part of my life, but I like where we are now. I like being on a farm with land and away from people. The older you get, the less people I want to see. Not because I don't like people. I like people. I just like my space. Like I couldn't live in like Japan, even though I'm fascinated by the culture. Like everyone's on top of each other. Like, we have ducks, right? I know this is a weird segue. We have ducks, and ducks are like a flock, right? They love if you take one duck, okay, they want to run back to the pile. They want to be on top of each other as much as possible. That's what ducks do. Okay, they just want to be on top of each other. Wherever they go, they always move together. They're always in because the DNA is they're trying to survive, right? So if they stay together and someone tries to come and eat them, that they try to stay in as close as possible so they can survive, right? That's how it feels like if you went to the city. I just feel like you're enclosed. And I don't even like going to Disney World when it's packed. I get like claustrophobic. I don't like the big crowds. Right, Mo, that's a survival tactic. Yeah. Check out the future of camera in general. All right. Where future camera introducing a camera that takes photos using location data, describes the place you are, and it covers it into an AI generated photo. Is this safe? Is this safe to put on? Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. What just happened? I'm confused of what just happened. There's no lens. Meters. Okay, 10 meters. Speed 1. Guy, it's taking. Was that like fucking sonar? I'm very confused by that. Are we taking sonar pictures of instead of a picture? Is it like shooting waves out and like hitting all the stuff and then it comes back as the picture? That's fucking magic. I found the best way to deal with crowds is to wear sunglasses so that people can't tell if you're paying attention to where you're walking. Okay. Kuda Papa says, let the ducks conjugate. Just makes it easier to hit more of the shotgun blast. Sure, I guess. Did you hear news about the Transformers reactivate? No. What's the news? Saw the camera guy on the short was gushing over is this new rig. It was like an army exoskeleton for stabilization. I think I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about? I mean, that's what it is. It's a Steadicam. I used to do Steadicam, but you're talking about an exo rig with the Steadicam on it. Is that what it is? Let's see more information. Yeah, it is witchcraft. We're taking pictures with no pictures. Paragraphica is a content to image camera. This uses location data and artificial intelligence to visualize a photo of a specific place and moment. The camera exists both as a physical prototype and a virtual camera that you can try. Note the virtual camera is currently under high traffic and may not load or work for you. The viewer display in real-time description of your current location, and by pressing the trigger on the camera will create a scintigraph representation of the description. On the camera, there are 3 physical dials that let you control the data. AI parameters influence the appearance of the photo, similar to how a traditional camera is operated. Okay. A time of day, address, weather, temperature, date, event, point of interest. A photo taken at blank. A weather is blank. Okay. A camera operates by collecting data from its location using API, utilizing the address, weather, time, day, nearby places, summing all these data points, composed of a paragraph that details a representation of a current place at the moment. So wait a minute. Are you telling me... Okay. Does the camera need to be there? Or can I just turn the dial and let's say... I mean, this is where my brain goes with this technology. Can I just click on Google Maps, pick a point, and take a picture, and the camera would take a picture? So, for instance, someone has this camera standing in Texas. They dial it in, and takes a picture of me in my house right now without even being here. Right? Using text-to-image AI, camera converts a paragraph into photo, resulting in photo is not just a snapshot, but a complex reflection of the location you are at, and perhaps the AI model sees that place. Interestingly, the photos do capture some remnants, moods of emotion from that place, but it's an uncanny way, as the photos never really look exactly like where I am. The star noise mole, which lives in the huts underground, finds light useless. Consequently, it's resolved a perceived world through its figure, like granting a usual intelligent way of seeing. This amazing animal became a perfect metaphor for inspiration for emphasizing with other intelligence and way it perceived the world can it barely impossible to imagine from a human perspective. As AI language model are increasingly becoming consciousness, we too will have limited imagination of how it will see the world. The camera offers a way of experiencing the world around us, one that is not limited to virtual perception alone. Though location data and AI image synthesizes provides deeper insight into the essence of the moment through perspective of other intelligence. Like, what the hell? The first dial behaves similar to a full. This is like, think about this. This is like dialing in the fucking time machine and like Back to the Future. The first dial behaves similar to the focal length of optical lens instead of controls radius meters and area of camera stretches for places and data. The second dial is comparable to film grain, the value between 0.1 and 0.1 and 1. We see it in image process. The third dial controls the guidance scale, increasing guidance, making AI follow the paragraph closely. Blur the photo. Above screenshot is a node used to build the web app communications between the camera and the multiple AI. Okay. I'm so confused by this. Interesting. Important question. Can it still steal people's souls? Probably, yeah. Let me see if I can find what you're talking about. It's a camera stabilizer. Are you talking about this thing right here? It's in general Discord. Oh, that's the Unreal Engine K-pop thing. Beat virtual K-pop band. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me see if is this the thing you're talking about for the camera stabilizer? There's a couple of different ones. They used to be in the front. It used to be right in the front of you, and you would work with it in the front. They've adapted some over the years. This looks pretty wicked. It's an exosuit. You're talking about this. This is actually pretty interesting because this takes away all the pressure. Because using a stabilizer, my back would absolutely be destroyed by the end of it. So what's funny now, and I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Obviously, this is probably much better for your back and whatnot. But what a bunch of weaklings we're becoming. Okay, I used to have to hold, and I'm not even the older type. Like the old guys that worked in like the 70s and 80s that had this, they were holding like 110-pound cameras, and the rig itself is like 40, 50 pounds. I would work with a camera that would weigh about 80 pounds. Okay, and then you get the mag on top with the film, and then you have all the other gear on you, and the pole and the balancing and the weights. And I would hold about 120, 150 pounds and you'd be working with that. And you would have a little stand next to you, put it on. Now with this is distributing across your whole back because now it's going over your shoulders and whatnot. Because before it would just like clip over. It would be like a vest that you clip on. There'd be no full back. Then they decided to put the whole harness, but this looks like it's a whole exo suit. So now your arms are what's holding the camera for the most part. If you're a shitty camera operator, you could let go of the camera and it would actually balance itself. Okay. If you're a shitty camera operator, you would use your arms to move the camera, which literally all you got to do is 2 fingers. Okay. So now what this does, by just looking at it, the camera one that he has on there, it might be 5 pounds. Okay. But what it does now is it takes your arms completely out of the equation. So now you're an exo. You're basically a dum-dum holding a camera and just running along. It's doing all the work for you. That seems pretty uncomfortable, though. I'll be honest. Not a bad price, though. Wonder what the weight capacity is. Cameras are so tiny now. Yeah, I wonder what the weight capacity is. Hand grip support, quick release. They don't tell you specifications. Seriously, they don't tell you how much it
Here at ICANN, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about the Armor Man 2.
Armor Man 2. Just show it to me.
Feel it lock into position. So now that he's engaged, simply just turn around, come underneath the handles, and you're ready to shoot.
Yeah, let go of it.
So that's it. That is
There's no
the
balancing
Armor Man
there.
2 from Tilta. For more information on the Armor Man 2 or the Gravity Gimbal or any other Tilta products that we have, you can visit us at icancorp.com. I'm Julio. It's Fernando. Thanks for watching.
Just getting closer. You don't need humans. Yeah, it's a little weird because he just picked up the camera. Now the gimbal itself is balanced, but you just have to balance the actual arm itself on your rig. There's weights and stuff you had to balance on the rig. Now he's just using his arms. Like your arms are the thing instead of the one arm. Now there's 2 arms, but they're attached to your arms. Like you could get massively injured if you weren't using the gear correctly, right? Because the arm would spring up because it's got like a hydraulic in it. The cameraman never dies, now just weaponizes him. There's okay. So technology has made it where technology has made a lot of things easier, but it's also taken what out of it. So before, I was on the cusp of when I first got in the business to what it is now. You would just take a tape measure. So if a person's in you, we put marks on the ground and whatnot, and that kind of slows down production. So you would take a person and put marks and get the focal length based on what lens and stuff you have, and you would put the 10 feet out, and then they walk from 10 feet. The camera stays still, and they're gonna get closer. They're gonna go from 10 feet to 5 feet, and you'll have to rack focus from 10 feet to 5 feet, and keep them in focus, right? If that's what we're going for. Then what happened was, so I would eye it. I would be able to eye it, what 10 feet was, 5 feet, 0, 20 feet, whatever, and keep it in focus. Then what they had was they put a little laser pointer up on the top of the lens, and that would shoot towards the people, and it would give you a rough estimate of what it was. So when you're pulling focus, you could see that if it's hitting, as long as it's hitting the target, you would know what it is on the fly. And now it's just fucking autofocus. They just put that shit on autofocus the entire time. Because most people that film stuff don't use fixed lenses. I mean, you always have to have a person, but the person holding the camera doesn't mean it's actually a good cameraman. It's just a human tripod, basically. Everything's on auto, and they just oh, look at the picture. Like you see people all the time on the cell phones. There's a Twitter feed I follow. It's called Praise the Cameraman. It's people taking videos and commercials with just their cell phone. They're not doing focal length or anything. It's on auto, and they just do everything, and they just do cool moves. They're like, oh look, I'm a camera guy. It's literally dumbing it down to the 8th degree. I could take my camera and I go, I'm a cameraman now. Yeah. Imagine 50, 60 years from now. You don't even have to go that far, Big Bobby. You could literally go 10 years from now. It will be like 50, 60 years from now. Technology is exponentially faster in every department, not even just like computers. Like, I've been out of the industry for 8 years, 7 years, right? Where I've been out of the field for about 7 years, full time, and it's completely changed the landscape with the cameras we're using. Going from you used to only be able to use the cameras that Aries and Panavision had to make films. Now you're using DSLRs. You're using cameras like this to make 4K, 8K videos, right? Now they're using cell phones to make the exact same things. It's crazy. This phone, right? This camera does 4K. This phone does 4K. Okay? This camera is, I think, about 8 years old. Okay? And not even that. I think it's like 2000. Yeah, it's about 8 years old. 2014. Okay? And then this does the exact same thing as this. I can't stick this in my pocket. I can stick this in my pocket. Oh, for sure, Papa. For the average person, 100%. But if you're talking about like the big cameras that do the super, like the 70 millimeter cameras and stuff that are doing for IMAX and whatnot, those cameras are still way powerful than. But again, you're renting those, and it's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to have it through the shoot. This is why I used to get trained, and this is why I used to go places and learn the actual gear to do it. Now they're like, hey, like, honest to God, when someone calls me up now, I don't even do like first AC anymore. People still do it, but for most jobs, like, hey, you're a DIT guy now, right? You basically take cards out and put them into the computer. That's what your first AC does now, right? And the guy that was the DP that didn't use the camera now operates the camera. There's no usually camera operator, and if you get hired, you could be using like someone's phone. It's absolutely crazy. And the funny part is, they'll take the cell phone and then they'll put it in a rig. And they put the light on it. They put the mic on it. They put all the stuff in. So the phone becomes as big as a regular camera. And you're like, well, what the fuck's the point? Why don't you just get the other camera? It's a weird industry now. People are buying like $5,000 cameras, and now people are just getting a cell phone. I mean, a cell phone's still expensive. It's still like $1,000 or whatever. But yeah, the industry has changed. Nice phone case. Yeah, it's I gotta get a new one because I got a new phone. It doesn't fit it correctly. It's Spider-Man, Iron Man, Hawkeye, Captain America, and Thor. He's holding the hammer. So it's Captain America, Iron Man, Hawkeye, Thor, and Spider-Man all combined into one. Have you used the phone for certain scenes where it's from perspective of the phone, or as opposed to a super expensive camera? Most of the time, what they'll do, at least in the past, they'll just put a filter on it, like in the edit, to make it look like it's phone. But now you can just use the phone. Because Gen Zers don't have the phone in view, they'll have a panic attack. I was just watching, I forget where I saw it. They said a lot of the people that are in like the Gen Z state, they're not motivated to do anything, right? They just want to like sit at home, sit on the couch, sit in bed, watch TV, do stuff. They don't have like a skilled trade or anything like that. And it's funny to me because when I was a kid, and I was on the tail end of a Gen Xer, I literally would be home by myself at the age of like 5, 6 years old. My mom taught me how to, make food and do stuff, and I would work with my dad, and I would do things like learn trade skills and whatnot, right? And I do that with my son now. Obviously, I don't work in that type of field, but I teach him things so he's not an idiot. But it's a completely different thing now. People just want everything handed to them. How to make scenes more realistic, I thought my generation was lazy, and I watched Gen Zers, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know what? You know what's funny? Everyone thinks like the CGI is amazing and whatnot, but you know what's a better film? Practical. If you could put it practically into a film, it's a better film. Practical effects are better than the CGI stuff. CGI takes that like before, we didn't have CGI, and you saw a spaceship. Someone created that spaceship. If you didn't have a monster, you had to make the monster with makeup and whatnot, right? You had to make that stuff. And then with CGI, it became realistic at a point, and now it's like super hyper unrealistic, which makes it realistic. But your brain, we've been so catered to or conditioned that nothing blows our mind anymore. We're just like, yeah, that's cool, some CGI, and it become desensitized to it. All right, Quintar, have a good one. Yeah, tonight we're going to be playing some Diablo 4 after the podcast. We do a podcast tonight. 8 p.m. Eastern, Generation X Gaming. Me and Sarge will be talking about gaming news and ranting along the way. And then after, we'll be playing I'll be playing some Diablo 4 tonight. I was thinking about how to make sense. Oh. Come on, Monster. I pre-ordered Diablo 4 Ultimate Edition. I can't wait to turn it into a big fat fluffy bear. I'm doing Druid as well. That's why I asked. Say you're doing an Avengers and you hand to Joe the curb. Who's videoing it? Them running. Wouldn't it look amazing? The normal live video, the phone. Yeah. We actually inside the movie Never Back Down, they actually did that. It was when the iPhones first came out in 2007, and they actually had people. They handed out phones to the crowd, like the extras, and they were filming. So there's scenes in that movie based from the phone, like the actual phone itself. Still $90 to play tonight? Yes, it's $90 up until next is when the actual launch date happens. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday is the $60 version. Is it $69? So $70. $70, you have to wait till Tuesday. $80 or $90 and $100 you can play tonight. All right. We talked about a lot of stuff today. Talked about Midnight Suns and how it was a failure and they fired 30 people. We talked about Redfall and how it was Arcane's fault, and then it was ZeniMax's fault, and then it was Microsoft's fault from Jason Schreier. And then we talked about the showcase, about what PlayStation was lackluster, and now Xbox fans are getting hyped up and probably disappointed when they don't see the stuff that they want to see either. And then we talked about a bunch of other little random things across the way. I appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with us in the mornings. If you like these type of shows, please make sure you hit that like button. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can hit the membership button as little as $5. It helps me out. doing what I do here. We do these types of shows or gameplay Monday mornings from 10 o'clock in the morning till about noon, or past noon, all depending. It's summer, so my kid's not in school, so I don't have to go do car line. But still have to take care of my son because now he's home. And then Monday through Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, we play some video games. And then Thursday night, which is tonight, we do a podcast called Generation X Gaming. And then tomorrow, we do a podcast with Lono. I don't know if we're doing the podcast tomorrow because of Diablo. I think he's playing Diablo. So we might stream in the morning as well, Diablo. And if not, we'll be streaming tomorrow evening around 10 o'clock p.m. And then Saturday night and Sunday night. And lots more of Diablo coming your way. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for tuning in, hanging out. I'll see you guys